Hey, this is Meredith's husband. I've got some SEO advice for you, but I'm going to keep it really simple so that you can understand it, so it makes sense, and most importantly, so you can actually use it. Today, we have a question.
Woohoo!
Do you want to read the question?
I do want to read the question that you
Please
just
do.
sent. Dear Meredith's husband, I feel like half my inquiries go nowhere once I send my pricing. Is there a way to filter out people who aren't in my budget range before they even contact me without sounding rude?
Good question. This is a common pain point for photographers, is it not?
It is. It is. There's several camps.
Yes, I know. There are probably several approaches. So first, I'm going to talk about this today, obviously. I am not going to talk about sounding rude exactly. That's more of like your sales process. Once people contact you and you are in communication with them, that's your sales process. So I'm going to talk about it from a marketing standpoint.
Excellent.
And I like this as an SEO topic because a lot of people don't think about this as part of SEO. People think SEO and they think it's just, high rankings. That's the goal. That's it. That's the end. And that sort of thinking gets you into a lot of trouble with SEO. In fact, I don't want to say it guarantees failure, but it's
tricky.
If you begin your SEO effort with that sort of thinking, you're bound for trouble. SEO, the goal of SEO, and I've said this in my training, but I'm going to repeat it here just so we're all on the same page. The goal of SEO is to get more clients through or your organic efforts through Google, through search engines, from free sources, organic. Okay.
Right.
That includes people coming through and contacting you.
Right.
Now, I understand this is frustrating. like when people contact you and they want things cheap, right?
Right.
It's frustrating. I know dealing with it myself.
Yeah.
I dealt with this still do deal with this.
Yeah.
I think personally, the thing to remember here, to put you in the right frame of mind, it's just the timing that isn't right. Like, surely wherever you are in your career, you have not always been there, right? There was probably a time when that lowball offer that you don't like now,
right,
where it would have been gold.
Yes.
Like you would have taken it in a heartbeat.
Yes.
So just remember, it's your timing. We all start. We all begin somewhere. So once you have graduated from that level, I don't want to say it's a cause for celebration, but just keep that in mind.
Right.
Like, don't instantly, I do this a lot of times myself, get frustrated and angry. Like people don't recognize the value of what I do.
Well, but isn't it also up to us to show that value on our website? That is.
I will talk a little bit about that.
Ooh, I'm so psychic.
Okay. Next. And I have to mention this just because it is an important factor. The speed of your response matters.
Yeah, that's
when somebody contacts you, how quickly you get back to them is, from what I understand in the studies, like the single biggest factor on whether or not somebody's going to sign you.
Yeah, they say within 5 minutes.
Okay, well So personally, I think there is a fine line between appearing responsive and looking desperate.
Right.
Who is going to have time to respond to an email within 5 minutes? It probably, it might happen occasionally. You might happen to be looking at your mail. So I think doing something relatively quickly is a good idea. I don't think you need to actually send a manual email back to somebody within 5 minutes. I would say you need to have, or you should have, some sort of autoresponder set up.
Right.
Now, the trick with that is that might turn people off, like having an autoresponder. Personally,
how would it turn somebody off?
Well, depends on what you put in the auto response.
Oh, I guess.
Okay,
true.
so my point is, don't try to make it sound like it's not an autoresponder.
Okay.
Like if somebody's going to get an email 30 seconds after they contact you, make it cute, make it friendly. Don't try to hide the fact that it's an autoresponder.
Right.
For example, I think that would kind of turn people off if you try to pretend it's not an autoresponder.
Yeah.
A vendor that both of us actually dealt with a while ago, I think did a great job with this. She was a branding professional.
Oh,
Her autoresponder was really cute and funny.
Vera.
And it was like, hey, I'm Vero's bot. And I just, make it cute, make it funny.
Yeah, she was amazing at everything.
Yeah. If you can make people smile, however, like, for example, sending a cute autoresponder, you make people smile, they're going to want to have you back.
Right.
Okay. I think that is actually one of the most important things. Yeah. When I think back over my own career as a consultant, like I remember one project, I was working for a big relatively big company for me, and they were being acquired by an even bigger company for something like $1 billion. It was crazy. And I was part of a marketing team. There were a bunch of external marketers part of this project.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember.
And once this company was being acquired, they no longer needed a marketing team. So they started getting rid of these external marketers like me. I was the last one to go. They kept me for like a year longer than anyone else. Honestly, I believe it was just because I made people laugh during our monthly calls. I think that because there was no reason to have me there. I was not adding, I mean, I like to think adding some sort of value, but they literally didn't need me.
Right.
There was no point. And yet they kept me there until the very, very end. And I think it was honestly just because people like seeing me.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretend they're laughing with me instead of
they appreciated you.
Yeah.
That's it.
You make people laugh, smile, they're gonna want to have you back.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to my story. Your autoresponder can begin the filtering process.
Yeah.
Somehow. Don't say like right away. I think I've done this myself. I know a lot of people tend to do this in their autoresponder. They just be like, "Hey, here are my prices." And I had a consulting client just like last week want to do something like this. They wanted to put a message about their minimum package, and they wanted to put it right in their hello bar at the top of the website. Hello bar, that's like the little banner that opens on the homepage right at the top.
Yeah.
And I understand wanting to let people know and do that right away. But that's kind of like putting it first in your autoresponder. And that's kind of like saying, imagine if your website were like a shop.
Yeah.
And somebody walks into your shop and you greet them. And the first thing you say is, minimum package is $5,000.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is. No, that's going to sound rude probably. So I guess I'm touching on that a little bit.
Mm. Well, what's the difference between clear and rude?
Well, I think where you place that message makes a difference. It's not the very first thing that you say to somebody. Because what's the message that you're giving somebody if that's the very first thing you say?
All you value is money.
All you care about is money. Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, so I think in my experience, the best way to do this, to filter out people before they contact you, if you want to, because that was the question, how do we filter out people before they contact so you don't waste time? So the best way to do that, in my experience, is to put something about your pricing as close as possible to the point of contact. So if you could put like literally, if you could put a message on the button that they actually click to send a message to you, that's probably going to have the biggest effect. Now, that would be a little extreme. You don't want to do that. But you see my point. You want to get close to that button and message anywhere close to that button. So what I like to do is I like to put something in the contact form itself. And you could do this with a little checkbox. Like when people submit a form, you can have a checkbox that's required, and they have to check a box that say, I realize pricing starts at such and such. That would be a little too blunt, but something along those lines. Also, and I like this one better, you can put some sort of question like, what is your price range? What is your budget? And have that be a drop-down menu and list price ranges. And most importantly, whatever your price ranges are, put the most expensive one first.
Right.
Because that's going to catch their attention. Because a lot of times what people do with those drop-down menus is they just leave it as the first selection. They just check the first one. I know that for a fact doing a test.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I share what I also have been told?
Yeah, sure.
So I was told one of the things with budget is that it can be flexible. And if there's something that you really want, budget almost goes out the window because you will rationalize it in some ways. And if somebody asks you, you go to a car dealership and they say, so what's your budget? Your response will be as little as possible. I want to spend as little as possible. But one of the things that has been recommended to me by Pi Jirsa, the wonderful Pi Jirsa, is rather than give them a whole thing, a full pricing thing to look at, say, session fees are this. And if you're selling products, say like frames start at these prices, clients typically spend these prices
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And you could put something like that in the
on the
drop down.
cocktail. Oh,
And rather than just have like a price range, say the drop down could be like, what are you looking for? Just the digitals, just a
right.
couple prints for holiday cards. I want framed art for, you could do something that's not as, again, blunt as a number range, but
Right.
it would still give you an indication of what that person is looking for.
Right.
And then with some forms, you can set up different autoresponders based on what their response is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And not all forms can do that. Some can, some can't. But that's a good option, especially if you're getting a lot of inquiry. If you're getting a lot of inquiries, congratulations. That's awesome. And then if somebody selects, your cheaper option, again, like just know that it's not the right timing for you.
And also, people without seeing the value and being educated are not going to want to spend anything.
Right. And I'm going to touch on that in just a second. But first, if when somebody writes to you and they're not within your budget range, that doesn't necessarily mean also that they never will be.
Right.
Especially like if you're a family photographer, new families, a lot of times they're struggling financially. It's not unusual.
Yeah.
I would say personally, keep those emailed. Like the people who write to you and can't afford you now, I would say keep their emails. Like who knows what's going to happen? Maybe you will offer something cheaper. You'll do mini sessions or who knows what's going to happen. I would keep those emails.
Because they might all of a sudden become extremely financially thorough.
Yeah. And then again, on the topic you just mentioned, you do need to educate people when they are looking at your site, obviously, that you are not the cheapest option. You are not Walmart. You are not, Amazon.
Sears.
Yes.
I don't think they're even around.
Probably not.
Another thing that I could add is a good place to just kind of have a anchor of your prices is on the contact page. So it's very clear. You could have prices start at this. Clients typically invest this.
Right.
So they will have an overall knowledge of where you stand and whether it's something that they are open to or if it is beyond their range. And then that can also prevent you from getting the inquiries that may not qualify.
That's a good point. And again, yes, the contact page, as close as you can get to that button, and somewhere on the contact page is much better than just having pricing on your pricing page.
Right.
I've had numerous clients have, messages somewhere on their site, like basically do not contact me if ABC, and they get tons of people contacting them about ABC until you put that message on your contact page, get it close to when they're actually the point of contact, and it helps reduce that. You can't eliminate it completely.
Right.
And I will say, like did the question say something about half?
It says, I feel like half my inquiries go nowhere once I send my pricing.
I will say that from my own experience, so people come to your website and a certain percentage of those people will contact you.
Yes.
That's called your conversion rate.
Right.
Once people contact you, a certain percentage of those people are going to hire you. That would be your close rate.
Okay.
From my experience in the business world, a close rate of 50%, and I remember this person said half my inquiries go nowhere, a close rate of 50% would be great. That'd be really good.
Yes.
I think, again, just from my experience, typically you're going to get maybe, 1 in 5.
Yeah. Oh, it depends.
Yeah.
It really depends.
So just know that you're not going to book everybody.
Right.
So yes, half your inquiries are going to go nowhere.
Are going to go nowhere. Yeah, exactly.
Don't feel bad about that.
Yeah. But I definitely think it's important to put starting prices on your website so people don't overwhelm them with every single option. But definitely most clients spend these start at.
The starting at price is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. It just gives an average.
Yes.
And if you ask someone what their budget is, they're all of a sudden in their lizard brain just focusing on numbers rather than focusing on the value of what you're providing and the quality. So it kind of keeps it in the croc brain of just numbers and not the emotional, what is this going to mean for you?
Yeah. Yeah, then I would do, instead of like the drop down with because sometimes it's, to be honest, especially in my world, it's very appropriate to have a budget because a lot of my clients are B2B.
Yeah.
So there is a very specific budget.
Right.
So when dealing with, consumers and family members and regular people, maybe instead of the numbers, say, what are you looking for? I'm just looking for a few photos. I'm looking for a holiday card shot, or I'm looking for a family album that I can share with
my family for years to come.
My third cousins.
Right. But yeah, if you just put it that way, then it's more tangible, and then they're starting to think about it in their minds rather than just financially.
Yeah, I like that.
I do too. I didn't come up with it. Hey, thank you so much for listening. We really hope that you find this helpful and useful. And if you do, what you could do for us as a thanks would be to, drumroll please, yes, leave a review. Yes, everybody says it, I know, but it really does make a difference. Take 3 seconds, leave as many stars, say something really nice about what you like about the podcast and maybe why other people would like it. It would mean the world to us, especially my husband. That better? All right, I'm going to try one where I'm not going to be charming.